Okay, so today I'm breaking down the email marketing strategy of Transparent Labs. We have campaigns and flows in here, so it's going to be a mix of the two. And let's get started. Now, why Transparent Labs in the first place? I was shopping for some supplements, and I know this brand is killing it. They're super legit in the sense that their products are super high quality. So that got my attention. And also, the learnings from this, even though it's a supplement brand, will apply to every single type of e-commerce brand, right? So it's just principles. So here's how the video is gonna go like. First, we're breaking down Transparent Labs ad strategy and their product pages or landing pages in case they're running ads to advertorials, whatever it is, because the email marketing strategy has to be in line with that. So if they are running ads using, I don't know, one type of hook and advertising to a very specific audience, our emails, of course, has to be in line with that, with what they are already saying, right? So we're doing that first. Second, we're going through a quick avatar we created for them. Demographics, psychographics, emotional, and beliefs that we need to install to get this sale. That's critical, right? So when we are aligned with that, we're going to review their flows, then their campaigns. Next, I'm going to give them a conviction score. And finally, I had my team create some emails for them. So these are high converting emails we created for them based on everything. And I'm confident they will kill it for Transparent Labs. But we'll get to that in a second. So first, let's see their ads. Okay, they're running 220 ads. So we won't go through all of them, of course. Well, let's take a quick peek at some of them. So, okay, so here's the man, 35, 45, 50. I wanted to get an idea on what they're saying, who their audience is.
I never go a day without hitting my protein goal, and I'm going to help you do the same. Firstly, I start all my mornings with colostrum to promote good digestion and gut health while also kicking off my day with an easy 12 grams. Studies recommend women consume 15 grams of protein within 30 minutes.
As you guys know, I love my Transparent Lab supplements. Big fan of the bulk, intra, hydrate, and the dextrose.
So, two very distinct audiences here. What they are promoting, colostrum, vitamin, which one are they leading with? I'm trying to understand.
If there's one supplement you're going to be taking, it has to be creatine. We already know.
Let's see where they're taking people to. So this is a page, right? It's not a product page. It's hosted in Shopify, transparentlabs.com/pages/transparent labs hydrate. So the science. So it's a advertorial-ish type of page. Benefits of hydration, okay. Another product they're promoting. They have tons of products like MVPs, right? So it's not just one. And
This group did not take creatine. This group did take creatine, and this group took creatine with HMB. One study showed the group taking creatine had greater muscle gains and did it about 30%.
Got it. So another product. Interesting. So they are all like advertorial-ish, so super branded, but leaning on an educational type of angle, but very product focused. So it's people who are already familiar with creatine and are shopping for alternatives for different types or brands of creatine. And then there's the product. Got it. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go over a quick avatar, right? So, I mean, this one is super long. It's covering emotional drivers, negative emotions, super powerful when creating emails, the internal world, what they are going through, what they want most, biggest worries. Then we have behavior and decision making. what they have tried, options, actual products, objections and skepticisms, questions they have before buying, which is critical. Then we have demographics and their identity, right? So from the type of people they are targeting and who they feature in their ads, their ideal customer is around 27, 35-year-old. But let's say it's 29, so we can have a clear pictures in our mind. Their main persona is Jake, let's call it Jake or Alex, a young professional in a full-time job. They get paid well. Transparent Labs products aren't the cheapest, but it's like you get what you paid for type of positioning, right? Tons of active ingredients, so you don't pay, low dose supplements that end up doing nothing, right? College educated, they are not stupid, so we cannot lead with hype. That is why they're leading with education, as we saw in the advertorials, right? You might want to pause it. I don't know, up to you, if you want to read all of this. But one of the most important areas when creating a customer avatar was these two first categories. Emotional drivers. We have plenty of potential areas. One that stands out is this, the number one problem he's trying to solve. At its core, his primary problem is lack of consistent, high-quality energy and focus for his workouts. So again, these guys, let's say Jake, he's earning a good income, so they're busy, right? And so when they do find time to hit the gym, they want to make sure they're making the most out of it, right? Because they cannot spend 3-4 hours working out. And so they have to be dialed in to crush the gym. But of course, there are plenty of problems that prevent him from having a perfect session every single time, right? And so that is what we're leaning into. In his own voice, the question is, what will finally give me the kick to have an amazing workout whenever I need it? So keep that in mind. And then we also have to consider that this audience has already tried other pre-workouts, right? So it's not going to be the first pre-workout, the first creatine, the first whatever it is. They have tried other options, but because they are smart, they're educated, they want to find what's best. Not necessarily what's cheapest, but what's best. Then in terms of negative emotions, there are plenty to leverage. Who he's angry at, who he blames for his problems. This one is huge. This one could be a huge angle or sentiment we could leverage later on, which is blaming their own genetics or body or potential, right? Like feeling they're just a low energy person, or if they're not growing, if they're not gaining muscle, it's because of their genetic potential, whatever it is, right? So that is something we can lean on later on. Then in the same category of negative emotions, we have his enemies. And we have plenty, but one that again stands out to me, it's his old me as the enemy. Perhaps his most personal enemy is his past self, the version of him that was weaker, less confident, out of shape. Huge one, right? Because we can get him to relate either his present or his future and sell around that idea into who he's becoming, right? And reminding them on who they used to be. And again, it's a very long document, so I don't want to go over it, but we have a better picture now, I will say. So now, let's review their flows. So I subscribed on May 29th, and the first email is the welcome email. It says, here's 10% off, right? So I just sign it up to their pop-up. Here's 10% off. Free shipping on orders over $99. Welcome to Transparent Labs. Get 10% off your order. Click below, automatically apply at checkout. What makes TL products special? Use code WELCOME10 and shop bestsellers. Okay, so it's pretty standard. It's it's clean, a clean design, nothing out of this world. Let's move into the next email, sent on the same day. Says almost there, finish ordering. Now, first time I received this, I thought it was a checkout abandonment, except I didn't check out, so I know it couldn't be. And then it says checkout or bestsellers, and it's featuring 2 of them. Now I click this button, and below, let me see, it takes me here, right? And if I copy the URL, I can see right here that it says site abandonment, right? So this is a flow. This flow is sent whenever someone visits the website and then they leave. So there's site abandonment, browse abandonment, cart abandonment, checkout abandonment, and that is the order, right? So site abandonment is at the top. They just visit the website, no specific product, and then they leave. Then we have browse abandonment for a specific product, cart abandonment when they click add to cart and then they leave, checkout abandonment, they make it to checkout and then they leave. So this is site abandonment, super generic. And as you can see, I got it on the same day. So this is not an ideal behavior. We will add a delay if they're going through the welcome flow, which is normally one of the most better built flows in terms of number of emails and time, at least here. And email engineers, my agency, that we spend creating this, the welcome flow, right? So we wouldn't want them to go through the site abandonment flow if they're already going to the welcome flow, which is most likely to convert, right? So we will add an exclusion so this doesn't happen. They don't have it, right? Next, 2 days later, 2 emails, right? One is clearly a campaign. Let's see this. I know immediately this is a welcome email because of the code, right? So it's part of the welcome sequence. The reviews are in. Not a huge fan of this angle because you know what's coming, right? You know a sales pitch is coming when you read this. Same with the subject line, my go-to protein for the foreseeable future, right? The reviews are in. And so you kind of know what is coming. A better alternative to say it is an email like this, which we created for one of our clients. It says, breaking news, contractors, this is selling to contractors, right, and homeowners. But it says, contractors reveal their insider shopping secret. This has been saving me money for almost 15 years, anonymous contractor. A group of contractors found a method to ethically pay the lowest possible price for project supplies. We brought them together to show you exactly how they do it without sacrificing on quality. Read their confessions. And then it's, of course, reviews. But the narrative, the way we frame this is completely different. So first we are getting their attention with this, which is the most important part of marketing and advertising. Following the IDA model, get their attention, create interest, then desire, finally action. But without attention, we cannot get the sales. Physically impossible, right? We break down the chain. Attention, then interest, then desire, then action. So this is a frame, this is an email type we use a lot. This is called a ham wrapper. It's part of Conviction OS of the 6 steps. So back to the email, feels like there's going to be a sales pitch, right? So people read this with their guards up, and so they're less likely to get influenced by it because they are in this like, I'm about to get sold something, right? So that is another email. Then this is a campaign. So we'll get to that later. We have 2 emails on the 1st of June. Again, so one is a campaign, another is a flow, which it's this one, right? This is a checkout abandonment flow now. Super standard. Almost too basic even. Yeah, this is Klaviyo's default checkout abandonment template honestly. But the problem with this is that they're not doing much persuasion, right? Is just a reminder of the card, right? But forgetting about the card is not one of the main reasons why people don't buy. People are not buying because they lack conviction, they lack trust, and they lack desire. That is why people don't buy. So visually, so say we have a pie chart like this, and again, a small percentage of the reasons why people don't buy is they simply forgot. Then there's a few people, a small percentage that has technical issues. I don't know. They simply don't know how to buy online. And although in 2025, this is like a smaller percentage even than this, right? It's like 1%, which is older people. 5% legitimately forgot for one reason or another. They just got distracted by whatever. Their phone ringed, someone was calling them, whatever it is, they legitimately forgot, right? And so an email like this is appealing to that. It's not moving the sales forward much, if at all. So instead, we would like to appeal to this whole portion of the pie, which is 90 to 96% of cart abandonment. It's people who still lack conviction. And conviction is the sum of desire. I want the thing, I want the product bad enough. We have to increase it. And trust. I trust the brand and I trust the products. So those two together create conviction. And an email like this is not creating much conviction, if any, at all. We'll get to this in a second. Okay, next, 2 days later, again, we have 3 emails. Okay, we got hit with the third welcome email. Right here, we got hit with a campaign. This one, new salt chocolate. And then, right, this is a cart abandonment, 10% off. So right now, the cart abandonment structure looks super templatized, which is the reason why I'm leaning into thinking they just set up the default Klaviyo template, which go like this. Email 1, here's a reminder. Email 2, here's 10% off. Email 3, last chance to use your discount. Now, the problem with this type of sequence is that it is only appealing to a small percentage of the audience, those who are already ready to buy, right? So that is, again, 3 to 5% of the audience at any point of time, right? Those who their only concern, the only thing holding them back was price. That is what a 10% off discount is doing. But the vast majority of people are still lacking desire. They don't want the products in the first place. And no matter how big the discount, they will simply not buy. It's like offering someone a treadmill for free. If they are not into fitness, if they don't realize, if they don't want to run or jog or whatever, or simply walk on a treadmill to lose weight, for health, whatever, if they don't want it, then they won't accept it even for free, right? With a 100% of discount. So this type of email structure is leaving a lot of money on the table because it's appealing only to 3 to 5% of an e-commerce brand's total audience. So instead, what we do, which we'll get to in a second, is create desire and create trust. Create desire, get people to want to buy the products in the first place, and trust. Get them feel safe doing so. So that is the welcome. So that is the checkout abandonment email. Time is running out. Okay, yeah, exactly. This is like your last call, last chance, whatever, card. And the code, right? This is an image. I'm trying, you cannot see on the screen, but I'm clicking this and dragging it to the side, meaning like I cannot select it, right? It's literally an image. This is text, but this is an image, right? You can see that better now. This could have easily been text, and so it will have minor deliverability bonuses, improvements. And a funny thing is that they're saying, hey, Chrissy, and this is an image. I don't know what's going on here. I'm not Chrissy. I never used Chrissy at checkout. And yeah, like this is not dynamic, right? So, hey, Chrissy, who's Chrissy? I think everyone is receiving the same email, which is nuts. Anyway, that is on June 3rd. Sorry, June 4th. Then we have, are you ready to level up? This is a welcome email, again. And let's read it, right? Let's read it this time. Natural fitness supplements that get you to your goal. Okay, so this is as unspecific as they could get. They could have, they could have gone one level deeper and said like, natural products that get you to your goal. That's even more unspecific. But the problem here is that this is too generic. Like, what is your goal? What is the goal? Right? I get it that it's an email that is sent to everybody, but still, we went through the customer avatar, right? So the purpose of this is to define exactly what we mean by goal. So we don't have to use this generic language which resonates with no one. And so it simply cannot persuade. It's simply words that enter through one eye, come out of the other. Has zero persuasion power, zero persuasive power. And so this is not doing much, honestly. So let's continue. Here's 15% off before your card expires. Okay, so now they are doing what's called a discount ladder. So it goes like this. And now email 4 is 15% off, right? So a discount ladder. So they increase the discount to nudge people to buy. Those who didn't purchase so far, they receive this email, right? And by the way, I get this question a lot for those who are not very technical. But if this is a checkout abandonment flow, and if they buy, they stop receiving every single other email, right? If they receive email 1 and buy, then they won't receive any further email, right? So, technical thing, but it just makes sense. Anyway, this is a discount ladder. They increase the discount. In theory, this works, right? If they didn't purchase at 10% off, they're going to buy at 15% off. I've been doing email marketing for half a decade. When I was getting started, I used to think, I accepted this as true. As I just implemented this with the clients that I used to work with back then, with the flow implementations that I did, but I always saw the same results. Yes, they got conversions, they got sales, but they weren't much. They weren't much compared to the previous emails, and they weren't much as a whole. Like their conversion rates was average and even below average, right? And the reason why, it's because of something we already discussed. 3% max of the audience at any point of time is ready to buy, and so these type of emails, discount type incentives are going to resonate with them, and they will end up buying. But again, even if you give someone a treadmill with 100% off, you give them for free, you give it away for free, they are not interested. They don't desire the product bad enough, or they don't trust you and your motives for giving them a 100% off discount. So discount ladders is one of those things that sounds good, doesn't work type of strategies. So I'm confident this is not doing much for sales. Moving on, your discount just got upgraded. This is sent on the next day. Let's see what this is about. It's literally the same email as before. I mean, I don't know if they're aware of this. I mean, it's not the same, but you get the idea. Here's 50% off your cart and 15% off just for you. There has to be some problems with the way their flows are set up inside Klaviyo. Are they using Klaviyo though? Let's see. Let me see the URL. By the way, you can see I used my name at checkout, so it's not whoever it was. It's not Chrissy, right? Whatever. Yeah, I can see in the URL is checkout abandonment, right? So same flow. Anyway, so it must be a mistake on their side. Then this has to be a campaign. Yeah, it could have been an MVP checkout abandonment flow. If I had abandoned, wait, you can see. I have in my cart a grass-fed whey protein isolate. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, it's whey protein isolate, so it's not the pre-workout, right? At their size, it makes sense to start using what I call MVP flows, which are abandonment flows and even welcome flows set up specifically for your best-selling products. So those who represent 60 to 80% of your total sales, right? So let's say if I had abandoned a pre-workout, a specific pre-workout, there's a way to do this in Klaviyo. Not sure with other programs, not sure with other apps, and that you can create a specific checkout abandonment sequence when they abandon this product in the cart. And so the messaging that you send is completely tailored to the reasons why people have to purchase this product, the questions they have, the objections, even different avatars. If there are different people buying different lines of products, you can get more specific in this type of emails. And so they convert 3 to 4 times better. The conversion rate is 3 to 4 times higher, right? So I could have given them the benefit of the doubt, but at this point, I don't think they have taken the time to do this. So this is just a campaign, right? And well, I can actually just click it and see in the UTM, in the URL tags, see that UTM campaign, like, let me show you. The name of the email, it's right here, blog highlight, pre-workout, right? So that's what they're doing. It's not a MVP flow. So we'll get to that later. So we'll get to that in a second. Then we have this, which is like basically email 5, last chance. So it's the typical structure of a discount ladder, which sounds good, doesn't work. Again, they're not giving me more reasons to buy. It's just appealing to the fact that I forgot. That is kind of like an arrogant thing to think in a way. They are assuming that I simply forgot, right? They are assuming I forgot, and that is the reason why I'm not buying. And as marketers, we cannot afford to be arrogant. We can either be arrogant or get results, but it's one or the other. And in this case, I'm not saying they're arrogant, because there's another option, which is that they simply don't know what they don't know, right? So that is this case. Again, hey, Chris, this is a serious mistake, honestly. I will reach out to them after the video, actually, with this. But again, this is not moving the sales forward. This is not creating desire. It's not getting me to want to buy the product more. This is not creating trust. So this, I'm confident this is not getting a high conversion rate. And then 8, 9, 10, 11. This, I think I'm not in campaign territory. Okay, now the welcome flow is long, right? So this is a welcome flow, clearly. This is another part of the welcome flow. So this email right here, don't just take our word for it. It is suffering from the same problem that we already discussed with this one, which is like the reader knows, the subscriber knows what's coming, right? They know a sales pitch is coming. Same here. Same with don't just take our word for it, right? I like this angle. They could have gone with this angle, editor speak, and then explain a little more who's the editor, but at least this is better. They could have used this in the subject line, so people who open this email don't have this "I'm being sold something" frames. Instead, they have a more curious frame. They have the mind more open. That would have been a better alternative. But I think that is enough for sequences. That covers the welcome sequence and the checkout abandonment sequence, right? So let's not go through some campaigns. Check out favorite from these top athletes. Trust by the best. Say what these top athletes choose Transparent Labs to take their health and performance to the next level. Okay, this was a part of the welcome flow. This one, I like it. Okay, this one is better, specifically if I am personally not familiar with these guys, but if their true best avatar is, then that's perfect. In any case, they are mixing two in the same email, right? Two type of avatars in the same email that they are appealing to, which, I mean, they could segment further. In Klaviyo, you can segment by expected or predicted gender. So you can have two paths, one for women, one for men. That will do better here. When there are two clearly defined audiences, in which case you will have an email just featuring man, jacked man, or like yoga woman or athletes, right? But yeah, this is another type of email which, I mean, it's not bad. It's that they are breaking again the first rule of, marketing advertising, which is getting people's attention. So trusted by the best, it's okay-ish. I mean, it's something that it's not a new sentence, so it doesn't stand out as much. And then this is almost impossible to read on mobile, so I don't think this is having any effect, right? I'm on desktop, so I can read this fine, but someone who's on mobile is going to have a hard time reading this, so that's not ideal. And then there's that, so it's just 3 testimonial comments. Again, if they are a credible source and they are kind of an authority and they are very well known in this market, then okay, that's going to be part of the heavy lifting. But let's go to actual campaigns now. Faster recovery and more results, you in? Supercharge, the S word. Supercharge. Okay, whenever you read the word supercharge, you know something is off. And that's an immediate red flag, because yeah, if they let this one pass, supercharge, then they know their marketing, what you can expect, their marketing is gonna suffer from lack of specificity. Does supercharge mean? I don't know. It's specific, so it doesn't resonate. It doesn't create the necessary, it's not concrete enough to get me to care. So that is a problem. Same here, faster recovery and more results. What is results, right? Is it dick enlargement? I don't know. Is it hair growth? Like, I mean, it's implied, of course, but if we can make it more tangible, then it's going to resonate more, it's going to get their attention, create interest, desire. We can get them to take action. It's not doing much. And then they have this comparison between their and others. Colostrum, backed by clinical research, underperforming. Okay, so this is a clear email blast, right? So I got this email. I never shopped this product, so they're just promoting this to the entire database, which is not bad per se. I mean, there's a high likelihood that someone who filtered themselves to this point, they saw one of their ads, somehow they got into their email list, right? So these people have all their commonalities, right? So it's going to be likely they are also familiar with colostrum and specifically grass-fed colostrum and all of that. So it's not bad that they're receiving this. Now, if they had a big enough email list, it will make sense to get a little more, like it will make sense to start segmenting the list a little better, see how different people respond, because it's not anymore a thing of the more the better. So the more eyeballs we get on our emails, the better. It's how relevant each email that we send to, because email providers like Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, specifically Gmail, which is the smartest of them all, knows how people behaves and interact with emails. So as I'm here, they know that they are keeping track of the time I'm spending here. That's for sure. They know I'm scrolling. They know if I'm not scrolling. They know what I'm clicking. They know what I'm not clicking, right? So if they see that an email is being sent to a database of 1 million people and a tiny percentage of people are clicking, then they say, okay, these guys don't care at all about email quality. They are just blasting to everybody and they are wasting our users' time. So we don't want that. And so you start being thrown out to the promotional folder or even the spam folder. It's super common for brands which have a big list, hundreds of thousands, millions, to face this problem, right? Because email is not the same it used to be 10 years ago. It's a completely new, different game. But there is a campaign. And another problem of this is that they're making a claim here, faster recovery and more results, but they're not explaining how this product leads to this outcome, right? So there's a disconnect. There's a bridge missing in here. It's just appealing to the fact that most colostrum supplements are underdosed. So instead, what I would have done here is appeal to this fact, right? To the fact that most people are throwing money away on underdosed colostrum. This would have been a better lead, a better headline and hook here. And that could also have been a more segmented campaign. They're not doing that. Let's see 2 more emails. I don't want to cover this email promoting a new product because that's easy. It's easy to send this type of emails, releasing new products. But you know what? Actually, let's do it because there are good and bad ways to announce new products. New flavor just dropped. Chocolate, coconut, real ingredients, real delicious, limited stock. Craft with real food ingredients you can actually pronounce in a flavor that goes way beyond your average bar. This one's made for serious snack satisfaction. They've been flying off the shelf, so if you want to eat, now's the time. Okay, right, so it's not bad, it's suffering from the same problem that their emails suffer from, which is a lack of specificity. When they say a flavor that goes beyond your average bar. What does that mean, right? Anyone can make that claim. So if they could have made a comparison, right? A flavor that tastes just as your favorite chocolate coconut pudding dessert your grandma used to make, for example. And this one is made for serious snack satisfaction. I mean, I love a good alliteration, but when it makes sense. What is serious snack satisfaction supposed to mean? Could be a little more specific, right? And the reason why I said before that there are ways and ways to announce new products or back in stock products. Normally the new part of the email does most of the heavy lifting. New, people like new, and so that gets people attention. But then this email is lacking on the interest and desire part of the thing, right? So to create interest, they could have compared this to, I don't know, a meal. I don't know how many calories this has, but apparently, well, it's not low on calories. 17 grams of fat, 23 grams of carbs. So it's like a whole meal, this thing. Like, yeah, and 15 grams of protein. It's like they got it twisted, right? What should be protein, 23 grams, it's carbs. But nevertheless, like ways, for example, they could have put recipes in how to, I don't know, use these bars to, I don't know, create desserts type of things. Create desire. They could have used an actual image of the product to begin with, and with chocolate dripping and sauce, making it look super delicious. So they didn't, right? Anyway, back to other campaigns. Do you still have questions? That got my attention. Okay, beautiful. This is probably their last welcome email. So yeah, right. Like the problem here is that we are getting a mix of welcome and campaigns emails, which is not necessarily bad when you don't have a super dialed in welcome sequence. Then it's fine to mix campaigns and have they receive both because it's not hurting sales much. But when you have a proper dialed in optimized welcome sequence, you want people receiving those emails and those emails only, because those are your best bullets, so to speak, that each one of these email has the precision and in the highest likelihood to convert someone, to get them to buy. But that's not happening here. Anyway, this is a text-based email, which I don't really like this. It's not a bad angle, like the FAQs, and it's a text-based. So at least people are more likely to read an FAQ when it's in text-based form and it's coming from a person than when it's a designed email, that's for sure. But then again, why are we answering these questions to begin with? If we are answering this question, what makes Transparent Labs different from other products on the market, it's because we failed to do so properly before, right? And they say this, at Transparent Labs, we're committed to creating products that don't just accelerate performance. Again, like, you know what I'm going to say. It lacks specificity. What's accelerate performance supposed to be? Anyway, but also contribute to long-term health, not specific, and wellness. The W word, the least specific word of them all in this industry. For that reason, every single formula is committed to natural and grass-fed ingredients. Transparent, blah, 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 blah. So this type of copy is, again, entering through one eye, coming out of the other. Thing is that everyone is making the same claims and saying the same thing, so this is not standing out. This is not specific to what customers are going through, their desires, their pain points. So this email is not doing much for sales. How much is shipping? Free shipping banner. Actually, the one that they are already using in their emails solved this, so it's not a proper question. Where can I find more information on each of your products? Again, this audience is 30 something on average. They know how to use a website. So this one will make sense for an older audience, selling to 60, 70 plus even. Then this is fine. Not in this case. So this is a good email on paper, but the execution wasn't the best, right? If we were doing an FAQ, we will do the type of questions that predispose the responses to move the sales forward, right? So how long will I have to wait before I get results? Or even better, how is it that Transparent Labs XYZ product can deliver results so fast? Answer, it's because, unlike others, we spend we have a team of 20 researchers, or products are not under those, whatever it is, right? But this is not doing anything of that. So again, it's not creating trust and it's not creating desire. So that is the main problem. And if we are not creating trust or creating desire, we are not moving people closer to having conviction and buying, right? Next campaign, the secret to building muscle faster. I'm 63, but this has helped me be as strong as I was in my 40s. Okay, this is at least better. This is teasing at some potential emotion. It's there in the market, right? Which is older people who no longer feel, and they realize it, like it hits them when they look at the mirror and they don't see their younger self. And so there's a pain, the pain of losing control of who they used to be. And that is the main appeal here, is a fear of losing control, which is a fear everyone has. I have, everyone has it. So that is the appeal here, the deep appeal I'm talking to. But let's see how it goes. Build more muscle faster. When combined, creatine monohydrates and HMB have been shown to enhance strength, increase endurance, decrease fat mass, and prevent lean muscle. No artificial sweeteners. Right, so the product has no fillers, but this is what I call email fillers. They don't do much. See what people are saying about creatine HMB. Right, could have used another headline, because again, this is one we are selling you. Okay, so they could have chosen a different headline, because this one screams, here comes the pitch, right? And then that's the email. Honestly, this could have been a very good email. I'm going to show you an example later, which it's a text-based email my team created. It's not based on this sentiment, but you will understand later. It's an emotional sentiment anyway. But again, build more muscle faster. It's super generic. Like, it's not saying much. I mean, build more muscle faster, yes, but anyone can say this. They have seen this message already before, so it doesn't stand out much. Again, it's suffering from the same problems we have discussed already. So at this point, I don't think it makes sense for me to keep reviewing their campaigns, right? Or the flows, because it's pretty clear what's going on. So I'm going to now give them a conviction score. Okay, so the 2020 McLaren Speedtail has a beautiful styling, so it gets an 8 out of 10. Just kidding. Transparent labs. We have two criteria here. We have the foundation type of markers, and then we have execution. How good? So this is strategy, this is execution, right? To nail marketing, specifically email marketing, you have to have a proper strategy, but then you have to execute it properly, right? Okay, so this is what these markers are about, and then finally we have a conviction score. So let's start with the offer. So this is conviction OS. These are 5 of the 6 steps to creating high converting emails, and that is conviction OS. There's going to be a link now somewhere so you can watch exactly what each step is about and how to follow them, so that you have an email that converts 10 times higher. And it starts with defining the target, the segment who's going to receive this email. In this case, because we mixed flows, which have a fixed segment, and campaigns, which are mixed, we're going to simply skip it, right? So let's get started with offer, because in any case, you have to follow them in order. So offer is not the discounts or the flash sales or anything like that. It's what we decide to promote in our emails, right? Transparent Labs has like 50 SKUs, right? So they have to decide which product to promote on an email over the others. So that's what this principle is about. And from what I saw, they are promoting their best sellers. So it makes sense, right? If you have products that have been proven to convert and to sell, then it just makes sense to push that to the audience, because it's like fishing, and you make sure you're using a bait that has proven to convert, right? Get fishes. Okay, so 1 through 10, I'm giving them a 6. They are simply promoting the best sellers. not having any type of specific welcome offer related to them. Their main offer was a 10% off, a flat 10% off. Didn't feel too specific to any of the products. So, for example, let's say one of the products was an expensive, I don't know, $100 creatine tab, whatever it is, right? Like this one. Let's say they have their creatine HMB, which sells for $90, right? They could have created a creatine gift card and give that away in the pop-up. And so the offer, what people get for their money, it's not 10% off. It's way more appealing now. They get a free gift card called like Creatine HMB $9 gift card, which is essentially a 10% off, but it feels way, way sexier. And so people are more likely to use it because it feels real, right? And I'm not talking about the real gift card, just a virtual, right? Like we design an image, put it on a pop-up and say, want a $9 free Creatine HMB gift card? Yes, no. And then if they click yes, they will see, okay, enter your email to receive it and so on. But that is why I'm giving them only a 6 out of 10. And then also in the campaign side, because that is on the flow side, on the campaign side, they're just blasting products to the entire list. And they could have done some segmentation based on what they knew about me, but they didn't, right? They're pushing different products to everyone. Next, on the awareness stage. So this is critical. Are they targeting the right awareness stage? So that is why we went through their ads at the beginning, right? So we know immediately, and this is because Facebook just pushes your ads to people who are more likely to buy from. So we know that if they are running this ad right now, then we can know exactly which awareness stage they are appealing to. And they go like this. First, we have unaware. Someone is working out, they are at the gym. They don't know that they are underperforming, right? They are just simply going through their workout unmotivated, low energy, but they don't know that something is off, right? And then it's problem aware. Someone mentions them, hey man, you look off. Everything's all right? Yes, everything's okay. Why? No, because you seem like you have low energy, something like that. At that point, they become aware that something is off. Do I have a problem? That guy over there looks like super hyped up. It's 6 a.m., but the dude is jumping up and down and doing burpees and backflips and all of that. Is there something off with me? Problem aware. Then they start looking for solutions. And they could say they are taking a trip to Las Vegas or doing some nostril nutrition. Or they found out about pre-workouts and then they found out about energy drinks, different solutions, right? So they become solution aware. After they decide which specific one of those solutions is the best for them, they become product aware. Okay, pre-workouts are definitely the option for me, what will work best for me in my situation, right? They become aware of that. And now the question is, which one of the thousands of different pre-workouts is the best for me, right? And when they have made up their minds, they become most aware and they just need a simple nudge to buy. They still have some questions, some objections, right? But they have chosen the product already and the brand, right? So this is the different awareness stages. And so with their marketing, we know it's very clear that they are targeting a product aware stage. They are literally saying that in their copy, right? Facebook wouldn't show an ad like this to someone who doesn't understand what creatine is, right? So we know for a fact they are in the product aware stage. And so what customers are lacking here is answering the question, why should I buy from you over other thousands of brands that are out there selling what looks on the surface the same but more cheaper, right? That is the question here. And so if we check their emails, most of them, if not all of them, are targeting either a problem aware or a solution aware stage. So your 8-week guide to body recomposition, right? Which is cool. And this is even part of the welcome sequence. It's cool and all, but it's not resonating with where I'm at. Again, I just came through one of your ads on creatine monohydrate. I'm shopping for other creatine monohydrate products. Why is yours the best? Why should I buy from you? I'm not seeing that anywhere in the emails that they're sending, right? It should be 99% about that type of email, that type of content, right? Which is more bottom of funnel. But I'm seeing a lot of top of funnel content, which is one of the reasons why I think their emails are super low converting, right? So because of that, I'm giving them a 5 out of them. Next, we move into sentiments. It's well known that we make our decisions with emotions and justify them using logic, right? That is like marketing 101. Yet, through all of the emails that we saw together today, only one of them stood out because it just hinted at a sentiment, which was the old guy who felt like he was in his 40s now. So all of the rest are not appealing to emotions, so they are not getting inside the subscribers' brains, so they have no room to persuade. They have no room to open the sale opportunity, right? So we make our decisions with emotions, justify them using logic. All of their emails are super logical, right? We are backed by this study and this study, which works. Yes, it's a part of building trust, but only after you've gotten them to care about your products and what you do and what you sell. So I saw no sentiment, no emotions in this email at all. Only, again, just that email which teased at a possible sentiment. So giving them a 2 out of 10. In terms of conviction now, trust, desire, and the belief that we are trying to convey, I didn't so much. Again, in the checkout abandonment emails, for example, the reason, the motives they were appealing to was forgetfulness, forgetting about the card. Like with all of the, hey, here's your card, here's 10% off, last chance, here's 50% off, last chance. Again, they were appealing to either price or forgetting about the card. But that is not moving the sales forward. To move the sales forward and to build conviction, we have to stack trust and desire, and more trust, and more desire, until we cross the conviction threshold, which is an invisible barrier, but a very real one, which we have to cross before we get the sale. If you are down here, you're living in indecision. So the more trust, the more desire you create, the higher your likelihood to get the sale. But these emails are not doing any of that at all. They're not creating desire. They're not getting people to want to buy their products anymore. It's just sending emails that are just out there. Honestly, some of them felt like noise. And I'm sure they meant well with these emails, right? Because they were probably following the best practices of email marketing, which is like why 99% of the emails nowadays are so vanilla. that they don't resonate and they don't work at all, which is another problem. And I have a separate video about that called the vanilla tax. So I saw nothing of trust and desire building in these emails at all, which is a huge problem. Right? Why? Because this is a brand that has a lot of potential. So I'm missing that. So I'm giving them a 2 out of them. Then in terms of delivery / ham wrapping. This is how we get the message, the email absorbed in the brain, get them to actually process the words that we are saying in a way that is not triggering their internal defenses. So we can then deliver our message to the brain and persuade them. And I already talked about this at the beginning when I mentioned that example of the contractors confess their insider secrets. That is ham wrapping a typical testimonial type of email. Ham wrapping because it's from the, I call this ham wrapping because it comes from the typical example that if a veterinarian tells you that you have to give your dog a pill, right? An antibiotics pill. And you try to just force feed it, right through his throat. He's gonna bite one of your fingers, right? You cannot do that. You want to deliver the message, the pill, yes, but you cannot force it, right? And so what they tell you is to wrap the pill in ham and then hand it over. He's gonna eat it and absorb it and get the message, right? That is what we're doing here, getting people to actually read what we're sending. So in terms of delivery, every email felt too vanilla again, and every email felt like every single other supplement brand email. Like there's not much new. They're not giving me reasons to care and to click, honestly. Want faster recovery, more results. Again, it was super unspecific, which is another issue. But it's not getting me to want to click and to read these emails like, okay, what is going on here? I'm lacking that. So in terms of delivery, I'm giving them 3 out of them for a grand total in the foundation category of 18 out of 50. Then we go into execution. We have architecture, the layout of the emails, the visuals, the copy, the cadence, and originality. So architecture, the emails themselves look okay. They look nice. They are attractive. They are not cluttered. They are not confusing. So I'm giving them a 7 out of them. In terms of visuals, they look clean as well, except they made a major mistake, which is not optimizing for mobile. So some emails of them are simply impossible to be read on mobile. So they get a 6. Copy, 5 out of 10 because of specificity. So their copy is not relating with anyone. It's too unspecific. It's just throwing words out there. Supercharged. What is supercharged supposed to be? I don't know. It's not concrete. If it's not concrete, it cannot create an effect on people, get them to move, to take action, to think differently. So it gets a 5 out of 10. Cadence in terms of how many email and how frequent, it's fine. They were sending an email a day for the first day. Then they dropped out. Then they dropped down a little bit. Actually, it's almost an email a day, so they have a good cadence. I'm giving them a 10 out of 10. Nice. Originality, yeah, not much. Their checkout abandonment flow structure was essentially Klaviyo's default, so that is a 1. And not because they just have to innovate and be different from the sake of being different, but for the sake of getting attention, which is what they're not doing much, right? They're not getting much attention from the emails. So it's low. Then in terms of campaigns, again, we kind of discussed this previously already, but the email feels like every single other supplement brand's emails. So it's not really good. I'm giving them a 4 out of 10 for a grand total of 32 out of 50. So not terrible, but could be better. In total, they get a 50 out of 100. And because this is the first brand in this series, we cannot gauge their performance, right? We don't have a benchmark. But we already know that in the foundation side of things, they didn't do very well. So now it's time for me to show you the emails that we created for them. Which should I show you first? The design email or the text-based email? Choose. I'm giving you 3 seconds. Choose one. Okay, I'm moving forward with the text-based email first. So half of you won, half of you didn't, half of you think I'm reading your minds. Half the other are just disappointed. Okay, so the text-based email. Okay, so it goes like this. Subject line. We wouldn't have the subject line at the top, of course. This is to give you context, but it goes like this. Are you falling victim to this gym disease? This is the actual email. There's a silent gym disease that's spreading throughout the industry, and it might be robbing your muscle and endurance gains without you even knowing it. The disease? Your pre-workout. Let me explain. See, most of us take pre-workout to give us that extra edge, that extra rep, to really push ourselves to the limit. But what if it's actually been holding us back this whole time? To make sense of this, let's take a look at the main ingredients in the average pre-workout for a second. Based on consumer studies, it looks like this. 2.5 grams of beta-alanine for high rep endurance, 3.5 grams of citrulline malate for muscle pumps and endurance, 1 gram of betaine anhydrous for more power. Seems pretty standard, right? Well, here's the thing. All these are terribly underdosed. These are dosed at only about 30 to 50% of the clinically effective amounts. What this means for you? It's like trying to boil water at 150 degrees. You're adding heat, but unless you hit 212 degrees, nothing actually boils. Same with these pre-workouts. Unless you hit the clinical dose, you don't get any benefits at all. All this time pushing ourselves, taking sets till failure, having the discipline to hit the gym when we need to, only for a pre-workout to be holding us back? Sounds like a scam to me. That's why we formulated this bulk pre-workout. As the name suggests, it has a bulk of ingredients inside, each hitting the upper limit of the clinically effective dose, meaning we can actually hit that extra rep we've been chasing for months, add that extra plate, and have what it takes to hit our genetic potential. Now, I'm not saying the average pre-workout doesn't work at all. I'm just saying, if you're someone who's really serious about pushing yourself and squeezing every drop of potential out of your workouts, then you might want to give bulk at least a try. It has almost double the ingredients after all. If you want to give it a shot and join over 31,000 fitness enthusiasts already using it, click below. Shop Bulk Pre-Workout, David, co-founder, Transparent Labs. And so, starting with the subject line, are you falling victim to this gym disease? It grabs your attention, gets your attention, the first step in the ADA model. Then it doesn't feel like the typical email. It's a text-based email, and we're not selling. We are simply stating something that's present in this market, and that these people, and remember about the avatar we went through at the beginning, is going to relate through. Right? So all we are doing here is creating desire, is highlighting the problem of using underdosed products, right? And what that creates, which is that they are essentially throwing money away. And so this is using one of the 7 methods to create desire, which is called amplifying the mouse. So it comes from one of the best books on marketing by June Short's Breakthrough Advertising, which says we don't want to sell a better mousetrap. We want to create bigger mice, create the fear of bigger mice. So we are essentially related. So what we are doing here is appealing to the pain of not hitting their goals, the pain of throwing money away. And so this email is creating new desire, is getting people to want to buy this product more, this pre-workout. So that is on the desire part. And then on the trust side of things is using a combination of methods. One of those is called dramatic demonstrations. So rather than saying that we have more ingredients or that our doses are better, we just show how one of our scoops look like versus the other pre-workout, right? So, and by the way, we made this using AI. Like you can know when you start seeing the details. But anyway, we will aim to have a proper real example used here, but we needed this for this example. Another method of creating trust this email is using is called contrarian credibility. So some people might not be familiar with the fact that some supplements are simply so underdosed. So we went ahead and even used an analogy on how it's boiling water and what that means for them, right? That they are essentially throwing money away. So that is the benefit of having an email like this, right? And as you can see, this email we created nails down every single step in Conviction OS, right? Started with the offer. Let's say we are promoting this pre-workout. That email could be a very good one to be used inside a welcome sequence for a sequence that dedicated at this pre-workout. Say they are in the product page of this product and they see a specific pop-up appear and they will get inside a specific MVP sequence, which we already went through, and get this type of email, right? So let's say we decided to promote this, but now let's talk about this, which are more important in a case like this. Awareness. Again, people in this audience are product aware. They are considering other pre-workouts. So we are talking about that. Essentially, we are helping them make a better solution. We are not selling them on the benefits of pre-workouts, which will live here in a solution-aware stage. We're not doing that. They are already sold on pre-workouts. What they are not sold is on our brand, our alternative, Transparent Labs bulk pre-workout. So they are product aware. And what they are missing is reasons why to buy from us over any of the other thousands of pre-workouts that are there in the market, right? So with this email, we are nailing that down. Sentiment. With this one, we are not as explicit in the sentiment in the sense that it's not as emotional, but it's in between the lines of, I don't want to get scammed. I don't want to lose my money. Like, again, these people are not stupid. They are smart. In any case, we should assume they are smart rather than just try and win through hype or whatever it is. But in any case, that emotion, that sentiment is in between the lines. It's not as explicit. So in this case, I wouldn't give me a 10 out of 10. This will be closer to a 7 out of 10, right? Which is fine. Not every email has to be super explicit on the sentiment, but we have to at least define it. We should at least know what's the sentiment underlying in this email, right? And so every word, sentence, paragraph, if it's a design email, the images we choose to show and not show matter, right? So that is sentiment. In terms of conviction, we already discussed that, how we are creating trust and we are creating desire, meaning we are moving the sales forward. And then in terms of delivery, if you get this email on your inbox, you're going to be more likely to open it over the typical email like this, which feels like every single other supplement brand's email, right? If you got this email that reads, are you falling victim to this gym disease? Right here across this sea of generic sounding emails, you're more likely to open it. And then the delivery part, remember, ham wrapping. Is this triggering you? Like, is this raising your defenses? I would say not as much as the other type of emails like this. Why? Because again, if you read every single line, it's pulling you to the next, right? And you're curious. You don't know where this is going, right? So this is essentially persuading you without you realizing, or persuading them without them realizing. So that is the power of an email like this, and that is the power of ham wrapping, which is why this is one of the key 6 steps in Conviction OS, right? So when you nail every single thing down, you will have a high converting email like this one, right? I'm confident this is going to convert at least 3 times higher than the emails they are currently sending. I can guarantee it, right? And I'm not just saying this to say it, right? We use Conviction OS to create emails that convert anywhere from 6 to 12 times higher than the median, the average, right? And we use this across every single industry and with every single new client that we take to have across campaigns and across flows as well to convert higher and generate more revenue per email sent. We are being more efficient, but also generating a ton more revenue than the average brand, the average agency, right? And this is because it's just based on 2 combinations. First, we have the strategy side of things, which are all of these steps, and also the execution. How do you actually take that strategy? How do you actually create those emails, right? So it's not using ChatGPT, it's not using AI image designers, nothing like that, or templates. It takes more time, which is why this wouldn't make sense for smaller brands who are just starting out and don't have much time. But for brands who have big enough email lists where every single email is seen by tens, hundreds of thousands of people, eyeballs, real people, then it makes sense to nail the execution at a 10 out of 10 level, or at least 9 out of 10 on every single level. And also the foundation, the strategy, because then every single email matters, right? You can squeeze as much money out of your email list as possible, right? So that was the text-based email. Let's move now to the design email, but first, I didn't make it clear on the previous email, but part of the 6 steps of Conviction OS is actually defining one sentiment, right? So the sentiment of the text-based email was this. This is not copywriting. And the design email, the sentiment is this. There's this underlying feeling that I could be achieving more, getting leaner, stronger, healthier. I could look better, be better, and what I just choose to put into my body makes a difference, right? So keep that in mind. And again, why this? Why a sentiment? Why an emotion? Because we make our decisions with emotions, justify them using logic. Even the decision to be logic. Oh no, I'm a logical person, right? So before buying, I'm going to create a spreadsheet with 20 different options and create a ranking from them. That thing that they're doing right there, it's a preservation of their self-image as a logical person, because they want to appear as logical to other people. They want to look in control to other people, which, if you guessed it, is an emotional thing. It's something deeply rooted inside the brain at an emotional level, right? So quick aside. But anyway, this is the emotion of the design email. Let's see it. It's kind of long, but here it is. That's what she didn't say. Ready to upgrade to 100% transparent supplements. Here's your discount code, SUMMER10. Use it to take 10% off your next order. Right, so this is a welcome email, the first welcome email. One thing we are doing differently here, and sorry for interrupting, but instead of welcome 10, which feels generic, we're improving the offer simply by tweaking the name of the code to SUMMER10 So it feels more timely. It feels like, okay, this might go away at any point of time, right? So that's what we're doing here. Moving on. Warning, is your supplement hiding unhealthy ingredients? A study done by the FDA showed that 50% of supplements contain ingredients not listed on the label. That means our everyday protein powder could be filled with artificial sweeteners, fillers, dyes, and unlisted stimulants linked to health risks. Is that a chance you're willing to take? 58,000 plus health enthusiasts trust supplements with nothing to hide. I use transparent labs because I won't settle for anything that uses junk. We're committed to helping those who are serious about sticking to a healthy routine. That's why all of our supplements contain no artificial sweeteners, zero artificial colors or fillers, no hormones or antibiotics, zero gluten, and non-GMO. Instead, we use natural grass-fed ingredients and third-party test all of our supplements to ensure all the ingredients present are listed on the label. This gives you the peace of mind that you are really giving your body the fuel it deserves. Discover our transparent supplement line, natural, clean, and honest. Grass-fed whey protein isolate, the best protein powder and the best company. I'm not going to read all of that, but it's a review that was chosen very carefully. Creatine, HMB, best creatine on the market. Bulk pre-workout. Very happy with these results. None of that annoying tingling or itchiness that I have experienced with other brands. So there we are relating to one of the problems. Shop Transparent Labs for clean, transparent supplements. Right, and it's a longer email, but what we are doing right from this first section of the email is we are creating desire. Is your supplement hiding unhealthy ingredients? We're using the same mechanism, which is amplifying the mouse and making the problem stand out, which works really well in the supplement industry. Although it's hard, it's very easy to overuse it. But I just wanted to drive this example, the example of this desire creation mechanism home with 2 examples, right? So that is amplifying the mouse, one of the 7 ways to create desire. And then essentially we are getting them to trust. And then after we hit them at a more emotional level, we get them to trust us. And with all of these sections right here, push them to their bestsellers. In welcome emails, that's the best shot you have. Just push them to your bestsellers and choose the one review that's most likely to help move the sale forward. And then the email is clean, so it follows their branding, but it's also super easy to be read on mobile, so it's optimized on that way as well. So desktop, it looks nice. On mobile, it's gonna look nice and readable. Another thing, the reason why we are doing this welcome email number 1 as a designed email, even though when with text-based emails like this, it's easier to create desire, easier to create trust, so you can just go longer, be more persuasive. The reason why is that we have A/B tested this already plenty of times, and normally having a design email as the first email in a welcome sequence or checkout abandonment sequence works better. Why? For the simple fact that people are expecting to receive an email like this as the first email, right? And when they are just getting to know you, you know what they say? First impressions matter. So if you are sending a beautiful email as the first email, even though it has less of a persuasive power, it is still persuading on another front, which is, okay, this email looks beautiful, these guys are legit. So that is still part of the sale. That still has to happen, right? So I've seen brands which are beautiful, right? They have beautiful branding. They pay $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to get their website designed, yet their emails look like garbage. And so there's a disconnect. right? We cannot lose a sale because of a stupid reason like that. So emails have to look beautiful, and specifically the first emails of each sequence, right? So that is a side tip. But now, if we rate our email here on the foundation, the offer, again, this is a generic email, but we changed at least the welcome code. We are promoting the bestsellers, so at least the offer is better, like it's more relatable. On the awareness side of things, it's on the right awareness stage. Again, product aware, considering plenty of options. So why should we buy from you? Here's why: because other supplements are hiding unhealthy ingredients. It's right there. Sentiment. We are appealing to this sentiment right here. It's in between the lines of the copy that we wrote. Conviction. We're amplifying the mouse, making the problem stand out. Only then they will pay attention to what we have to say and actually read it and process it, right? We have to get them to care first. And then the delivery. Even though it's a design email and the underlying idea that this is a sales pitch, it's very hard to get rid of. It's still, in my opinion, not this typical pitch. But you have to keep in mind the context. It is a welcome email, so they literally just gave you their email in exchange for a discount because they want to buy. But still, it's not like just we're saying buy from us. We are giving them reasons to buy first and to care first, right? And then on the architecture, the email is logically it's set up in a way that's more likely to convert. The visuals look nice. The copy is more specific. We cannot say this is a single email, but the cadence, for a brand like this, we could be easily send an email a day. They have plenty of products. Their lifetime value is high enough. So yeah, why not? If we can, so long as they are emails that pass this, they nail the foundations, not like this, but like the other emails, the previous emails we created. If we nail down this, we can easily get away with an email a day, and they don't feel like sales pitches, right? Because of the delivery and because of what we are saying, they don't feel like sales pitches, so people don't resent you for it. They are not complaining. There are always complainers in any market because some people, a tiny percentage of people, are just simply mentally insane, but we cannot do much about that. There are brands who decide to send less emails because some nuts complain about email marketing, and so they end up optimizing their marketing to the complainer, which is never a good strategy. But anyway, this was the first email in the Conviction OS series. Hope you like it. Let me know in the comments which brand I should do next. And so I have enough time to subscribe to their emails, receive their welcome flow, their checkout abandonment flows, their campaigns for a few days or even a week ideally, and do this. So the sooner, the better. Now, finally, there's going to be a link now in the video somewhere in the description or in the comments for you to watch the video that explains Conviction OS, which is the system that we use to consistently generate emails for our clients that convert 8 to 12 times higher than the typical e-commerce email, right? That's gonna be somewhere in the description now. And for those new to the channel, I'm Matt Pirelli, founder of Email Engineers, an email marketing agency that brands go to whenever they need or want to unlock more email sales. Normally after they have set up or had someone set up their email flows for some time, they paid some guy $2,000, $3,000, and they just have some flows out there. They are converting, they're generating sales, but they know they could be better. Or others simply don't have the bandwidth. Their team is busy executing Facebook ads, Google ads, running everything. They're wearing multiple hats, so they don't have time to figure out email marketing and to do it at the highest level possible. So they come to me and my team, right? So if you want to work with us, there's also going to be a link in the description for you to chat with me. In any case, I'm Matt Pirelli, and it's been a pleasure having you here today. See you on the next one.